Welcome to Essentials of Acute Care. I'm Dr. Sunil Garg, and today I'm going to discuss an important and relevant issue in the management of critically ill patients. This issue is related to continuous renal replacement therapy used in intensive care unit. Here comes a case, a 53-year-old male who presented with breathlessness and in whom a working diagnosis of hypertensive heart failure, acute on chronic kidney disease with pulmonary edema was made. He was initiated on CRRT, to be more precise, CVVHD with ultrafiltration in view of acidosis and pulmonary edema in the presence of anuria, and he was also started on mechanical ventilator and intravenous antibiotic on the basis of suspicion of infection in the lungs. Before going further into the details of the case, let's have a look on the indication of CRRT in intensive care unit. It is severe metabolic acidosis in patient with acute kidney injury, hyperkalemia refractory to medical treatment, pulmonary edema refractory to medical treatment, uremic complications, and it includes uremic bleeding, pericarditis, or uremic encephalopathy. It is also used for the better fluid management in a patient with oliguria and or anuria. It is also used for the toxins removal where the toxins are dializable. It is important to remember there is no absolute level of creatinine where renal replacement therapy is prescribed. So why CRRT is preferred over intermittent hemodialysis in intensive care unit? CRRT has several distinct advantages over intermittent hemodialysis, like it provides better hemodynamic tolerability in critically ill patients, those who are on multiple vasopressors. It provides more efficient solute clearance. It provides better control of the intravascular volume because of its continuous nature, and it also provides better clearance of the middle and the large molecular weight solute. When we start the CRRT in ICU, prescription depends on indication. Common indication includes management of acidosis, management of hyperkalemia, and management of fluid status. Bicarbonate content of commercially available dialysate fluid is largely the same, and that is around 32 millimole per liter. So here in terms of management of acidosis, we do not have multiple prescription to offer, but only one type of fluid which has bicarbonate concentration of 32 millimole per liter. In terms of fluid management, we can set the ultrafiltration value as per desired goal and hemodynamic tolerability of patient. It is nothing to do with the choice of dialysate fluid. So largely the choice of the fluid depends on potassium. What is the potassium content of fluid and what is the patient serum potassium value. Though we monitor calcium and phosphorus routinely in our patients on CRRT, but their contribution to selection of dialysate fluid is largely ignored. So continuing with our case, one day our patient developed bradycardia, altered mentation as assisted by presence of drowsiness and confusion, abdominal distension and constipation. We investigated him and diagnosed as hypercalcemia based on clinical findings, serum ionized calcium of 1.61 millimole per liter, and short QT interval. Here it is important to note that his serum calcium was normal on admission. Before going into the details of the cause of hypercalcemia in our patient, let's have a look on the treatment of hypercalcemia in general. It includes saline hydration, calcitonin, use of bisphosphonates, and denosumab. Other treatment for hypercalcemia includes use of glucocorticoids, dialysis, and most importantly, the treatment of underlying disorder. So what was the cause of hypercalcemia in our patient? The common causes of hypercalcemia includes hyperparathyroidism, malignancy, and other diseases which includes multiple myeloma and sarcoidosis. Since our patient's baseline calcium was normal, these diagnoses are unlikely. In terms of immobilization, Immobilization can contribute to hypercalcemia in ICU patients, but immobilization all alone in isolation cannot lead to this much of hypercalcemia as it was there in our patient. In terms of vitamin D overdose, we have not given any vitamin D to our patient, so we can rule it out. So what was the cause of in our patient which leads to hypercalcemia? Did you identify the cause in our patient? So CRT prescription was the cause of hypercalcemia in our patient. So what do we do next? Should we stop the CRT? Ideally, to treat the hypercalcemia, you need to remove the underlying cause, and ideally it should be stopped. But again, the important question lies, can we stop the CRT in our patient? No, we cannot stop the CRT in our patient in view of renal failure associated with anuria and pulmonary edema, and our patient was on high ventilatory support. If we cannot stop the CRT, then what we can do? To identify this issue, we have to identify the real problem, whether the real problem lies with the CRT prescription or the choice of the dialysate fluid. If dialysate fluid is the problem, then which fluid we should use, and it will decide the treatment of hypercalcemia in our patient. Here we can see four different types of CRT fluids: Hemosol, Prismosol 2, Prismosol 4, and Foxolium. Here 2 denotes 2 millimole per liter of potassium content. Here 4 denotes 4 millimole per liter of potassium content in Prismosol 4, and in Hemosol the potassium content is 0 millimole per liter. First we will discuss these three fluids: Hemosol, Prismosol 2, and Prismosol 4. If we look into the further details of the composition of these fluids, we can see calcium content, magnesium content, sodium content, lactate, and bicarbonate content of these three fluids, Hemosol, Prismosol 2, and Prismosol 4, are same. The only difference lies in the potassium content of these fluids. In Hemosol, it is 0. In Prismosol 2, is 2 millimole per liter, and in Prismosol 4, it is 4 millimole per liter. This fluid, Foxolium, is somewhat differ in the composition from the rest of these three fluids. In Foxolium, the calcium content is 1.25 millimole per liter, and while it additionally also has phosphorus, and that is 1.2 millimole per liter. The cause of hypercalcemia in our patient was a use of dialysis fluid. We were using the dialysis fluid with calcium content of 1.75 millimole per liter. Here you can see our patient's ionized serum calcium was 1.18 millimole per liter at baseline, and on CRRT it rose to 1.59 millimole per liter. As soon as we realized this problem of hypercalcemia, we changed the fluid to Foxolium, and it contains calcium of 1.25 millimole per liter. On the Foxolium, its calcium dropped to 1.24 millimole per liter. By removing the underlying cause of hypercalcemia, we were able to manage this patient. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope this video was useful for you. You can write comments in the comment section box. And once again, thanks for watching the video.